How did a small Chinese startup grow into one of the world's most powerful and controversial tech giants? Welcome to Huawei, a company where innovation meets controversy, sparking global debates on technology, power, and security in an increasingly interconnected and competitive world. Huawei's story is anything but simple. Founded in 1987 by Ren Zhengfei, a former officer in the Chinese military, Huawei started out as a modest telecommunications firm in Shenzhen. Today, it's a global powerhouse in telecommunications infrastructure, and for a time it even surpassed Apple to become the second largest smartphone manufacturer worldwide. But Huawei's rise isn't just a tale of corporate ambition and technological progress. It's a story that probes complex questions about international security, surveillance, and the relationship between corporations and governments. What makes Huawei so unique and at the same time so controversial? The answer lies in a potent mix of innovation, geopolitical strategy, and Huawei's close but often mysterious ties to the Chinese government. This connection has led many to wonder, is Huawei a global leader in tech, or a potential Trojan horse in international security? From alleged corporate espionage to government support, from pioneering 5G networks to accusations of aiding China's surveillance efforts, Huawei's influence and the fear it provokes has never been more relevant or globally impactful than today. But let's take a step back and explore Huawei's origins. To understand how Huawei grew so quickly, we need to consider the context of its birth and early days in China. In the late 1980s, China was just beginning to open itself to the world. Emerging from a period of isolation and economic hardship, the Chinese government set ambitious goals to transform China into a technological and economic powerhouse. This vision became known as the 2049 Plan, a long-term initiative to establish China as a leader in all fields by the centenary of the People's Republic in 2049. It's sometimes referred to as the Chinese Dream. Huawei, with its initial focus on telecommunications, was in a prime position to benefit from this national push for advancement. In its early days, Huawei didn't start with groundbreaking technology. Instead, the company provided affordable telecommunications equipment to rural China, filling a gap that Western companies overlooked. But Huawei wasn't content with just supplying the local market. It leveraged government support in the form of favorable policies and subsidies and expanded aggressively into international markets in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Huawei's rapid rise, however, wasn't without controversy. In 2003, American tech giant Cisco accused Huawei of stealing its source code and documentation, even down to typographical errors in user manuals. Though the companies eventually settled, this incident cast a shadow over Huawei's reputation, marking it as a company that might not play by the rules. And this was only the beginning. Over the next decade, Huawei continued to expand, and so did suspicions surrounding its methods. Numerous allegations of corporate espionage emerged, with reports of Huawei employees allegedly trying to access confidential information from competitors. Some industry experts argue that these practices allowed Huawei to accelerate its expansion and compete directly with major Western firms, sometimes beating them in their own markets. But beyond the allegations of corporate espionage, Huawei's relationship with the Chinese government remains the most contentious aspect of its global operations. Although Huawei claims to be employee-owned, many experts argue that it operates under close government scrutiny and receives substantial support from the Chinese state. Huawei's leadership structure is also quite opaque, with a board that includes individuals rumored to have strong ties to the Chinese Communist Party. And China's national intelligence law, which requires Chinese companies to cooperate with state intelligence agencies when asked, only intensifies the skepticism around Huawei's independence. So if Huawei is truly beholden to the government, could its technology be used as a backdoor for state surveillance? This question is especially critical as we enter the world of 5G technology, where Huawei's influence is unparalleled. Huawei has invested billions of dollars in 5G research, making it a leader in the field. By 2018, Huawei was outpacing competitors like Ericsson and Nokia, offering advanced and affordable 5G solutions to countries around the world. The company's technology promised faster internet speeds, lower latency, and the ability to support the Internet of Things on a massive scale. This breakthrough came with enormous economic potential, but it also raised the stakes. If Huawei's 5G infrastructure could be used for surveillance, then it could serve as a powerful tool for espionage, giving the Chinese government potential access to data across the globe. This fear led many Western countries to impose bans or restrictions on Huawei. In 2019, the United States, citing national security concerns, placed Huawei on its entity list, effectively cutting it off from essential American technologies. This meant that American companies were prohibited from supplying Huawei with crucial components, such as semiconductors and software. It was a huge blow to Huawei's smartphone business, which had relied on Google's Android operating system. Huawei faced a choice: find a way to survive without American technology or lose its foothold in the smartphone market. So how did Huawei respond to these sanctions? The company pivoted dramatically, focusing its efforts on the domestic Chinese market and diversifying into other areas like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and even smart cars. Huawei also doubled down on its research and development, spending billions to create in-house alternatives to the components it could no longer import from the United States. And it received critical support from the Chinese government, which helped Huawei secure contracts and partnerships within China. Despite the challenges, Huawei managed to survive, showcasing a level of resilience that surprised many. One of the most dramatic events in Huawei's recent history was the arrest of its chief financial officer, Meng Wanzhou, in Canada in December 2018. Meng, who is also the daughter of founder Ren Zhengfei, was detained at the request of the United States on charges related to Huawei's alleged violations of sanctions against Iran. Her arrest sparked a diplomatic crisis, with China detaining 2 Canadian citizens in response. After nearly 3 years under house arrest, Meng was released in 2021, returning to China as a national hero. But this incident underscored just how deeply intertwined Huawei's fate is with the Chinese government's broader ambitions. Huawei's controversial role isn't limited to international disputes. It also extends to its activities within China. The company has reportedly been involved in developing technology for China's extensive surveillance system, particularly in regions like Xinjiang. Here, Huawei's facial recognition and tracking systems are alleged to have been used to monitor the Uyghur population, a Muslim minority group that faces intense repression by the Chinese government. Huawei has denied any direct involvement in these efforts, but leaked documents and investigative reports suggest a different story. The ethical implications of Huawei's technology being used for state surveillance have added another layer to the global debate around the company. Despite these controversies, Huawei continues to play a pivotal role in China's tech ecosystem and remains a symbol of national pride. The company's struggles with Western sanctions and scrutiny have fueled a wave of patriotic support within China. Huawei products have become more than just devices. They represent a stand against foreign pressure. Many Chinese consumers see buying Huawei products as an act of solidarity, a way to support a company that symbolizes China's technological resilience. But Huawei's challenges are far from over. As the United States continues to impose restrictions, Huawei faces obstacles in securing advanced semiconductors, which are crucial for its 5G infrastructure and smartphone operations. The company has made significant strides in developing domestic semiconductor alternatives, but catching up to global leaders like TSMC or Intel will be no easy task. In the meantime, Huawei is betting on other areas like artificial intelligence, cloud services, and automotive technology to maintain its relevance. Huawei's journey raises critical questions about the future of global technology and international relations. How much influence should governments have over tech giants? And can a company be both a leading innovator and a tool for state influence? For Huawei, the line between corporate ambition and national strategy is increasingly blurred, and the company's fate may ultimately depend on how the world answers these questions. Huawei's story reflects the broader power struggle between China and the West, where technology is more than just an industry. It's a battleground. As Huawei adapts to sanctions, reinvents itself in the face of adversity, and pushes forward in sectors beyond 5G, it stands as both a beacon of innovation and a symbol of global tension. The world's response to Huawei will shape not only the future of one company, but also the balance of power in the digital age. As we consider Huawei's future, it's clear that the tech giant won't be disappearing from headlines anytime soon. Its story isn't just about technological advancement, but about resilience, reinvention, and perhaps the complexities of modern-day geopolitics and the shifting landscape of global technological power. So what does the future hold for Huawei? Will it continue to push the boundaries of technology, or will its controversies ultimately limit its influence? As Huawei's story unfolds, one thing remains certain. This isn't just a tale of a tech company, it's a story about the balance of global power and the role of technology in shaping it. Thank you for watching. If you found this exploration into Huawei insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on the forces shaping our world. Let us know in the comments. Do you think Huawei's growth is a symbol of innovation or a cause for concern?